Hi everyone, and welcome to another speed build. Today I'm sharing the first part of what's going to be an ongoing project because this build is for townhomes, and obviously if I try to finish this whole thing in one video, it would be a lot, it would be way too long, and even 2 parts would be a lot for this. So this is going to be a 4-part series, and in this part here, I'm finishing the outside of the build and taking care of the outdoor areas that aren't personal to the townhomes, and I'm also going to be furnishing the first of the townhomes. And in each of the next 3 parts, I'm going to be furnishing one of the other townhomes. And unlike when I usually do multi-part speed builds, I'm not finishing this whole build and then putting the videos out for it. This is something that I'm going to be completing at a more relaxed pace, so I'm going to be doing it, mixed in with other speed builds and other kinds of videos. So it's something that I'm hoping to finish over the next month or so. And looking at this build so far, it might seem like kind of a weird structure for townhouses because it's not very uniform and it's also kind of spread out. And that's because the inspiration for this build was these townhouses that I drove by that were like this. And this was the exact thing about them that stuck out to me. I have never seen townhouses like this before, or at least I think they were townhouses. They could have been apartments, I'm not exactly sure, but either way, when I saw them, the first thing I thought was, I have got to build these in The Sims. So that is exactly what we were doing. And they were just ones that I drove by, so I didn't have time to observe them super closely and try to exactly replicate them. So this is something that is definitely, more inspired by them, where I'm kind of trying to make my own version of what I saw. And I am just so happy with how this turned out. And I think it's such a cool build so far. So how this is structured is that you have those 2 smaller townhouses on the sides, as you can see, and they're kind of in opposite corners of the building, which I thought was really cool. And then in the middle, you have these 2 that are more mirrors of each other that are stuck together side by side. So they're kind of a little bit more what you typically see with townhouses, although they're definitely structurally different than townhouses usually are. But those ones are bigger and they're a bit nicer than the ones on the sides. And they actually have 2 outdoor areas rather than just the one like the smaller ones. But I do think the smaller ones have a cooler look to them. Like, I kind of like the structure of them a little bit more. And these townhouses definitely don't have a lot of outdoor space specifically to them. It's just kind of those gated areas that you see that are what they get. So basically they just have patios rather than yards. And then in the area around them on the build, there are some public areas, like there's a basketball court, there's also a little playground, which I thought would be really good since I'm going to make several of these for families, because the one that we're furnishing today is the one that's on the end here. Yes, this one here, because that's why I'm doing the floor plan of it. So this one, I furnished in a mid-century modern style to go with the style of the buildings, and it's for a family, but I was thinking that for one of the other ones, I could have it be for a bunch of roommates, like maybe roommates who are more professionals rather than the college type roommates that I've done a lot of builds for recently, and probably some other family ones. So if any of you have any ideas for what kinds of styles you'd like me to furnish the other ones in, then you can let me know, because that is the nice thing about this build not being done, is that I can take those suggestions and use them. Although I will mention that I'm not, this isn't going to be like a Let's Build where I'm going to be making a bunch of changes to what I've already done, but I'll definitely take suggestions for the build going forward. And something I was thinking was that maybe one of them could be more newly renovated. It could be something that has a very open concept floor plan, because the one that I did in this video definitely has a more closed off floor plan. It was something that I wanted to make look slightly dated. So I'd love to have some variety in terms of the styles that these are furnished in and the kind of Sims that are living here. But as far as when the next part of this build is going to be up, I'm not really sure when that's going to be. Because in case you didn't know, we're getting a new stuff pack next week called Tiny Living Stuff. So I'm definitely going to have to make some tiny house for that. So I'll probably make a couple of those. And then I'll get back to this build. But the thing is, I'm also going on vacation a few weeks. And I would love to be able to pre-record for while I'm gone. But honestly, that's probably not going to happen, because I don't want to stress myself out with telling myself I have to pre-record, have the same amount of videos up while I'm gone, because this is my hobby, not my job, so I don't want to stress myself out with making myself record videos that I know aren't going to be great and, just for the sake of having videos go up. So I'll do what I can, and maybe I'll have a video or 2 up while I'm gone. I'll see what I can do, but I'm not going to force things too much with that. But when I get back, I'll definitely get back to this if I can't have another part up before I leave. And once I get back from that vacation, I should be able to finish this up rather quickly. But I am really looking forward to making making some tiny houses, because I don't think I've actually made a tiny house before. Maybe I have and I just don't remember because I've done a lot of builds, but I don't think I have. Like, I don't think I've ever made a video titled something tiny house. Like, I think I've made some houses that maybe qualified as tiny houses. I don't think starters qualify as tiny houses, but it's something that I am looking forward to trying, and I do like that they are going to be quick builds, which is great right now. So that is why I'm thinking maybe I can have something up while I'm gone, because I'm going to be doing this or tiny houses, so they're all things that are going to be a bit quicker to do. But another thing I love to know is what ideas you all have for tiny houses, because I love to try to do some things that are more creative. So I've had some things that I've been thinking about, like maybe something with a shipping container, although I know that's not really the most creative because a lot of people have done that, but I don't think I've really done that before, so I want to try something like that. And another idea I had was a house that was all glass in the front, because I remember I was watching some show about tiny houses once, and they made this one where the front of it was a bunch of different kinds of windows put together, like some of them were more modern windows, some were like really old windows, and I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know how I would pull that off in this game though, because you can only put one window on each section of wall, but maybe I could like delete the wall and then try to puzzle piece them together. That's one that I'm not sure about, that because that might end up looking way worse when you actually try to do it than in my head. But I think that show was, I think it was like some HGTV show probably about making tiny houses, like tiny, I'm sure there's a tiny house hunter. I don't know if it was that. I think it was something where people are trying to build tiny houses. I don't know. It was something I watched a while ago, but I thought that was pretty cool. But right now I'm doing the landscaping. So for the landscaping of this build, I used a lot of plants that came from the debug menu, because there's a bunch of stuff in there that works pretty well for this build. So we have that one really pretty lavender plant that I haven't used in a while that I just absolutely love. There's some really nice bushes in there as well. And I was just trying to pick out things that looked like they were the plants that you see in the world around this, because as I'm sure you know by now, this is built in Del Sol Valley, which I just thought was such a great setting for this build, because it goes with the whole mid-century modern theme of this build so well. And this was also such a great lot size for this build. I've never known what to do on the slot before, so I've never built on it, but this was something that just worked out so well here. And I originally started building it in Oasis Springs, but I started on a 40 by 30 lot and then quickly realized that was not going to be enough space, but this 50 by 40 lot was just absolutely perfect for the size of this. So right now I'm just making what are supposed to be the trash areas for these apartments. So we just got 2 trash cans per each one, which I think works out. Like, I was thinking of it kind of as one is the trash and one is the recycling, but I just like having that little area. I feel like that's something I've seen in apartment buildings before. I think usually you have a dumpster there rather than a trash can like that, but we don't have dumpsters in this game, so that's kind of what I had to do to get that point across. But we're done with the outside of the build, or, you know, what of it isn't personal to the build. So now starting on the interior of this build. So as I mentioned before, this has a fairly closed off layout. So the dining room and the kitchen are all in their own rooms, and you have this entryways you come in that's tiled. And unlike what I normally do, I use tiles in both the entryway and the dining room and the kitchen. That was something that felt, you know, kind of dated to me. Like, it's something that kind of fit that feel that I thought this would have. And also, this is in a more arid climate, and I think this is something that you more commonly see in those kind of climates, because Del Sol Valley is supposed to be like LA, and I don't know if this is something common to LA, but I've seen it in houses in like New Mexico and other areas like that where they tend to have more tiles in them, so it's not all wooden carpet everywhere. And I kind of like that about this house, because I have a tendency to just put wood flooring, like the same wood flooring everywhere in a house, so I liked doing something other than that with this one. Although I did swap out the tiles because those ones from Jungle Adventures were just too busy for the space, so this simpler one I thought looked a lot better. And here I am just getting the furniture in. So as I mentioned, this also has a more mid-century modern style to it. So I used a lot of the stuff from Get Famous, which I hadn't used in a while. And this is a style of furnishing that I really enjoy doing. This build also has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and I made it for a family that has a toddler and a child. And when I go to furnish the larger townhomes, I'm thinking about making them 4 bedrooms instead of 3, or maybe there'll be 3 larger bedrooms. I still have to figure that out, but the thing that is nice is that with that new roommate feature, builds like this are actually more useful because before I always felt like it was kind of an impractical ways to make townhouses because, I mean, you put your family in one of them and then the rest of them are empty, or you make like 8 Sims and try to spread them out and then that's hard to control. So it's just nice that you have that feature that makes these kinds of builds more useful and you can get a bit more creative with trying to make roommate specific builds. So I definitely want to do some more things like that, but maybe I should make the other ones, like make them all 3 because, I mean, if I make them 4, then they're definitely never going to get filled. Like, there's going to be way too many builds, way too many beds. But, I mean, then again, I don't think that really matters too much. I mean, this is just something that I'm doing for fun. I know this isn't really going to be the most practical build anyway, but I am really looking forward to seeing how this whole thing is going to turn out. And currently, I'm just trying to figure out the clutter for this area in here. So I wanted there to be a little bit of clutter because I do have kids and kids tend to leave stuff all over the place, but I still wanted it to look like it was fairly nice and put together. So one of the parents or both of them definitely have the neat trait. And rather than sticking with that one flower decoration from Parenthood, I decided to swap that out for that fern plant and then size it down and put it on the table because in addition to looking really nice when you just put it out in a room, that plant also looks really nice when you size it down and put it on a table. I just really like that. And I hope we get more plants like that in the future. Like, I just love that kind of potted fern style of plants. And, like, plants are just always something that I look forward to seeing when we get new packs. So, looking forward to seeing what we get with this tiny living pack. I'm not sure if that's really going to come with anything. And I am interested in seeing, like, what kind of furniture it comes with exactly. Like, I'm assuming it's going to be a lot of one tile versions of stuff we already have. I know there's going to be the Murphy bed that I think is a couch combo, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so we'll have to see what comes with that pack. I'm not sure if there's going to be many items that are useful outside of tiny builds. Hopefully there are, like hopefully it's something that's widely useful. But I definitely was really surprised when I saw the trailer for that drop because I was just looking at Twitter on my lunch break and I was like, wait a minute, what is this? Definitely it just was not a theme that I was really expecting. So hopefully it's a good stuff pack. But at this point, I finished the whole office area that's down here, the whole desk area. So now we're just putting a bookshelf in. I knew I wasn't gonna have space anywhere upstairs for a desk. So I just figured that little area going into the kitchen was a good space for it. And I was just trying to make it so that picture there was positioned, a very specific way near the books. That's why I just filled in all the slots and then just kind of positioned it near the books. So now we're done with that room and we're on to the dining room here. So I, of course, carried on that whole mid-century modern look that it has. And it's a fairly neutral room apart from the pops of color that we have on the rug there. And I have not used this rug in way too long because it is actually a really nice rug. And I always do this where I go through phases where I use certain items a lot and then I find other items and I use them a lot and then I just kind of forget about the other items that I used in the past. So it is always good to be reminded of different items that are good and that you haven't used in a while. Like here I was trying to figure out something to put on this table that I hadn't used, so I put the ship there, which, I don't think I've ever really used that, but that's pretty cool. Then I also, you might have seen when I pulled out the child statue, aka the Baby Yoda statue, because I have actually been watching The Mandalorian. I waited until it had been out for a few weeks to start it, but I actually like it so far. It's pretty good. I think I have one more episode before I finish this season of it, and other than that, I've been watching... on my own, I've been watching Killing Eve, which is pretty good. So I'm on the 2nd season of that. And then I also finished watching You, which that show, it's like one of those shows where I'm like, I don't know why I'm watching this because it's just kind of unsettling to watch, but then it's just like a train wreck that you want to watch. I don't know how to explain exactly. Like, it's not like the worst show. Like, it's not a bad show, but it's not really an amazing show, but it's good at like sucking you in and making you want to watch it all the way through, and you're just watching like how's how's this guy getting away with all this crap that he's doing. It's just a strange and unsettling show. I don't know how many of you have watched that, but yeah, that's just some of the stuff that I've been watching recently. But yeah, since I had actually been watching The Mandalorian, I was like, let's just pull this little baby Yoda guy out and take a closer look at him. Because when they first put that in the game, I hadn't watched the show, so I wasn't really, like, I knew there was a baby Yoda, but I wasn't exactly sure what the whole deal with him was. But currently I'm working on the kitchen and we're a good bit of the way through it. So this kitchen feels like it's actually been renovated fairly recently, or like parts of it have been updated. Like the appliances look a little bit older, but then it's got this really nice backsplash and the counters look a little bit newer. So I just kind of like the idea that it's something where it's not like a situation where someone just renovated the whole kitchen in one go. It's kind of like bits have been upgraded on it, and it's kind of a work in progress, which is something that happens. You know, it's not like kitchens are always renovated all at once. Sometimes you just kind of do what you can as you get the money. But we're done with the kitchen, so I'm on to the laundry room now, which is just this very small room at the back of the building. And I did this because when I was driving by those townhouses, I noticed that they did have that bump out area like that in the back, and I think it was actually a shed, but that wouldn't really be very useful for this build, so I just decided to instead make it a 2x3 laundry area that also has a door going outside. I thought that worked pretty well for what we were doing, but now I'm working on the patio, so we just have a table with some chairs out here, of course, and then we just got a seat and a grill and some planters. There really was not much space, so I couldn't really do much, but you know, it's just kind of a nice outdoor area for the family, even if it isn't much. So we're all done with the lower level now, so we're on to the upper level, and as usual, I was stuck on what to do with this area. I've said this before, but I never really, I never really know what to do with these kinds of spaces because they're just basically hallways. So I don't really want to stick a ton in them, but then I also don't want to leave them empty because then you just have an empty room, which I don't like. So I just settled for putting a bookshelf and a plant and some paintings up here, and I left it at that. So it is an area that I kept fairly simple. But I have found that this bookshelf here works pretty well as a kid's bookshelf if you change it to one of the more colorful colors. There is a bookshelf in the child's bedroom, but there isn't one in the toddler's bedroom, so I see it as more so their bookshelf, like with their stuff in it. But that's it for that space. So now we're on to the bathroom here, and I was trying to use one of these swatches of this parented shower that felt more like a fun kid swatch, since this isn't the bathroom that the parents use. And at first I used this elephant one, but then when I started furnishing the bedrooms, I ended up changing it to the whale one because I thought that suited the direction I went in with the bedrooms a little bit better. You know, like it kind of tied in with the colors I used in the bedrooms more, so it felt like something that went more with the personality and preferences of the kids that were in those bedrooms. This elephant one here is really cute though. I do really like it. But yeah, that's it for the bathroom. So now we're starting on the bedroom, so I'm just trying to figure out the wallpapers for them. So I was trying to use some fun ones. And since I used that cloud ceiling light in the toddler bedroom, I decided to use the cloud wallpaper to go with it. And then we've got that really cool UFO light in the child's bedroom that came with Strangerville, which I think I've only used once. But that light is just so cool that I wanted to try using it again, and I'll talk about it more once we get to the child's bedroom, but I really like the theme that I went with for the child's bedroom. The toddler's bedroom is a little bit more basic. I don't know, I like toddlers, but toddler bedrooms aren't really my favorite to furnish because we don't have a lot of different themes for their bedrooms, you know, like there's only 3 or 4 beds to go with, and you just kind of, they don't have many swatches, so I find it kind of hard to create vastly different themes in toddler bedrooms. So this is kind of just more of like a basic, quick kind of a toddler bedroom. I did think that mirror that I used for my Moschino stuff in here was really cute, and I thought it went with the fun vibe I wanted to give this room pretty well. So that definitely is something that's good to use for kids' bedrooms. Then here I'm just trying to figure out the desktop, or the dresser top clutter. So just different stuffed animals, the little robots, like a car. I don't know, I just think it looks really cute. And now I'm just kind of situating all the different toys and adding more cloud decals to the wall. So there isn't really any paintings in this room. It's just a lot of cloud decals to go with that kind of sky cloud theme that this room has. And now that I think of it, I think there was actually a cloud mirror that came with a pack, or maybe I'm imagining things, but I think there was a mirror like that. So maybe I should look for that and try to swap out the one that I used, because that might go with the theme of this room a little bit more. I think it might have come with My First pet stuff maybe, or toddlers. I have no idea. I just gotta look through the mirrors again to see if I can find what I'm thinking there is there. That is almost it for this bedroom though, so we're just finishing up with yet another cloud decal and then getting some toys and a rug on the floor. And then we'll be on to the child's bedroom, which I just think it looks a lot cooler than this one does. So for this room, I went with this whole UFO space theme, like it's a kid who's just really into aliens and maybe they're intrigued by Area 51 stuff, I don't know, or they maybe kind of get into like alien conspiracy theories a little bit, and it maybe annoys their parents that their kid's just all about that because they're maybe a little too young to understand all that stuff. I just like that idea. I just think this room turned out really cool. So I did use that green lava lamp, and I just like the green light that it gave this room. It definitely just really helped with this theme even more. And then we got that poster behind the bed that has a robot on it that I thought fit in. Then of course used that skateboard decoration that had the swatch that looks like the aliens taking up a cow, you know, beaming up a cow or something like that. Then we've got a science lab, so it's a kid that I also see being kind of interested in STEM and robotics. Like they're just very interested in futuristic things as well. So we just have all of these different kinds of school experiments in here. And I thought those twinkle lights that I added to the windows added to the theme too. And I did think about making this a teen bedroom as I started furnishing it, but I just saw this as being a younger family with younger kids, and I thought this was kind of an interesting theme to go with for a kid's room, so I decided to stick with that. But if you wanted to put a teen in here, then I feel like you could pretty easily swap out some stuff, like maybe change out the science experimenting table or the chemistry lab for a desk and get rid of the toys and put some other stuff in there. So I think it is a pretty easy swap to make if that's something that you want to do. But that's about it for this room. I'm just adding the rug to it, and that's it. So now we're going to be on to the final bedroom in this house, which is, of course, the master bedroom. And for this one, I stuck with more of that mid-century modern look that the rest of the house has. So we added this bed in from Get Famous, and then these end tables as well. And this room has a very neutral color scheme to it, so it's more of this pale yellow and then lots of browns and a few more like burnt reds, you know, not like bright reds, but kind of more like burnt orangey reds. But I do like how it came out. And I know like it may seem kind of weird that I added that. It was like that waterfall in a bottle thing that came with Jungle Adventure. So I put that on the end table because I saw that. And even though it is supposed to be for like giving your sim a shower when they're in the jungle or something like that, I thought it looked kind of like it could just be a drinking water bottle. So I just like the idea of leaving it there like it was a bottle of water that they were drinking, and then they just put it down and left it there. This room isn't really that large, so I wasn't able to fit a ton in here, but we just got a plant in the corner. There's a TV on the dresser, so there's at least a second one in the house. And then I also added a chair into this corner over here because I couldn't really think of what else to put in there. Like I finished the rest of it, and then I was like, wait, what do I do with this corner? And then just kind of stared at it for a while, and I was like, you know, we'll just stick a chair in here and leave it at that. But right now I'm just finishing things up in this room with adding some paintings. So I just stuck some of these all over the room because the browns in them did tie really nicely with the browns in the rest of the room. And I couldn't really, like, I just couldn't really find anything else that I thought fit in the room as well. But we're on to the last room, which is the master bathroom. And there will be a fly-through at the end of the video. Usually with these multi-part speed builds, I have one fly-through at the very end, but since this is something that's going to be a bit more spread out, there is going to be one at the end of this video, but it's just going to be showing more so this house and the area around it. But that is going to be it for me, so hope you enjoyed the rest of the video.